Hi guys, and welcome to another review. This time I'm bringing you the KBEar KB-03. This is the latest in this, let's say, series from KBEar, which started out with the KB-01, then we got the KB-02, and now the KB-03. What is the KB-03? Well, the KB-03 is a 1 plus 1 plus 1, 1 DD, 1 BA, and 1 bone conduction driver. The KB-02 1 DD and 1 bone conduction, and the KB-01 just a single DD beryllium plated driver, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I believe that DD is always the same in every one of the models. It's just the addition of the bone conduction. On this side here, I've got two other IMs which follow the same tribrid configuration of the KB-03, the Assassin from CVJ, and the Celeste. Oh my god, what a blank I had now. My god, the Celeste, the Plutus beast. My apologies, just had a blank, getting tired now. Anyway, these two also have that setup of 1 DD, 1 BA, and a bone conduction. The difference here in the Plutus beast is that the dynamic driver is a square planar driver. It's basically a dynamic, a cross between a dynamic driver and a planar driver, okay, but it's square. And here the CVJ has the peculiarity of having switches, okay, and what those switches do is they allow us to switch on and off the BA, switch on and off the bone conduction. So with the CVJ Assassin, what we are in essence getting is 3 IMs. We get a single DD, we get a single DD plus a BA, and we get a single DD plus a BA plus a bone conduction. So outright from the get-go, the one that's the most, let's say, technically impressive IM is definitely the CVJ. End of story. It's as simple as that. They have other models, which is the Konoka, which is a cheaper one, which also has the same philosophy, and they have now a more recent one, which I still haven't received. But anyway, I thought this would make sense to have it here because it's got more or less the same price as the KB-03. The KB-03 costs roughly $55–60. This is roughly about the same thing. As for the Plutus Beast, this is roughly $79, if I'm not mistaken, so a little bit more expensive than the others. Well, for me personally, I think it's the most well implemented IM with this philosophy. It's where the bone conduction has been used in the most sensible manner. In the others, not so much so, and I'll get to that in a second, but over here it's always working, and the way that they've actually used the bone conduction and they've applied the bone conduction, you can feel it's there, but it doesn't spoil the sound in the way that it gets spoiled with some of the other IMs that are here. And so it's the best implementation of a bone conduction, especially at this low price, okay? Well, low price. You guys understand what I'm saying. Anyway, let's break it down, and I'm not gonna delve too much and drag myself on here too much. I'm gonna be perfectly clear. Of the KB series here, the best one is the 01. End of story. It's the IM that, by virtue of what it is, which is a single DD, has a solid tuning. It's a beryllium plated driver, as I mentioned. It plays well, it does everything well. You can't really, again, like I've said countless times, fault it. If anything, its initial price was maybe its hindrance. Now you can pick it up substantially cheaper, but it's a solidly tuned IM. Plays well, it's clean, it's detailed. There's really nothing that you can say here. As for the KBEar 02, the problem of the KB-Ear 02 and the problem of the KB-Ear 03 is the bone conduction. And I'm going to see if I can try and show you something. Can you hear that, the way it resonates? Can you hear? I hope you guys can pick up. Okay, that's precisely the problem there. The way that they've implemented the bone conduction, it's way too loose, and by being way too loose, it just makes the IM sound like it's at the end of a tunnel. You know, with the majority of music, it just sounds like you're at the end of a tunnel. So unless you're going to be using these two IMs purely for, let's say, gaming purposes, and even then, I question how good they are. Um, they are a bit of a disappointment, and I said it already with the KB-02, and I say it now with the KB-03 as well. They are honestly a bit of a disappointment because they just vibrate way too much, more than what they should, and that spoils the sound. It just spoils what they otherwise could be doing really well, and especially on the KB-02, because I still think the KB-02, even with its handicap, it's still a better IM than the 03. Honestly, I don't know if it's just the units I got, or if it's across the board, but I feel it's across the board, and I respect other people's opinions if they think that these two IMs are good. I honestly don't think they are good. I honestly and sincerely think that, with the exception of a very limited use that they can get, they are not capable. Musically, they are very, very disappointing. And more so even the KB-03 than the 02, because the 02, I've seen it as low as $28, $29. So I guess if you spend that money, whatever. This at $50 odd, especially when you have then these two other options here, it's a hard one to justify. And I mean, just going here to the CVJ, the Assassin, just the simple fact that you can actually switch off the bone conduction and thus do away with the same kind of problems that the KBEar also has, although it's less pronounced because the shell is metal, and by the shell being metal, it resonates less. So although yes, you still get that feeling of listening to music at the end of a tunnel, there's a lot of songs that you can already actually listen to and enjoy them, and even say, oh, actually the bone conduction does bring some entertaining factor to this whole way of playing. But the fact that you can switch it off and then enjoy it as a solid, but I mean genuinely solid sounding IEM, 1+1 especially, I mean it makes no sense to go and spend money on the KB-03. And I mean, seriously, I truthfully struggle with doing this kind of reviews, because I don't want people to go and spend money in buying stuff which is underwhelming, and the KB-03 is very underwhelming. And then when we have something like the Pluto's Beast that does implement the bone conduction well, then you understand. Hold on. If this is how it should be implemented, if this is the kind of the reference, what I don't understand is why the hell do brands still go and do this garbage? Seriously, guys. I mean, if this is a well implemented bone conduction driver, and I think that's going to be pretty much unanimous, okay, then implement this in the same manner. Easy. Add some switches like CVJ has done to at least give it some versatility. It's as simple as that, guys. It's as simple as that. So I'm not gonna, like I say, drag myself here and delve too much. I'm just gonna show you quickly the graphs, and that's that, and that's a wrap for the KBEar 03. Truthfully, a disappointment. Okay, so here are the graphs now. This is the KBEar, the KB01, my apologies. As you can see, it's kind of got a cadenza, QES cadenza kind of vibe, very unoffensive. Just for the sake, I've got here the conch, so you can see how similarly they are tuned. The differences obviously will be the different driver materials used, or the different driver used will confer a different overall sound. So I mean, nothing to be said there. My apologies, KB-02, this is all because of the bone conduction, all of it. No, sorry. KBEar 03, the same situation again. No, and it's got less up top as well. And then the Assassin, with its bone conduction on, it's this, which when I compare it, for example, with the KBEar 03, it still is less than the KBEar 03, and you notice that it's got a better sound than the 03. Otherwise, in terms of the mids and the upper mids and so on, it's still better, in my opinion. The next one is the Assassin, but without the bone conduction connected, sounds really, really good. Honestly, guys, solid sound, solid sound. 1+1, very underrated IM. It just went completely under the radar because it was commercialized as a gaming IM. Okay, and then finally the Bluetooth Beast, the Bluetooth Beast here, where yes, you can see the bone conduction there, but how can this in any way be possibly compared to this? I mean, how can you expect the KBEar to even have a chance to sound remotely decent when it just gets completely destroyed? This, in my opinion, is the reference for a tribrid or an IM using a bone conduction at under $100. Okay, and if this is the reference of a properly done IM, then this is what other brands should be following, and in this particular case, KBEar. Alright, guys, as always, like and subscribe. Any questions, please feel free to ask me. Take care now. Bye bye.